guest of the 13th Convocation of UCA Tarsadia University holds distinction beyond national frontiers. Namaskar. न आया हूँ न लाया गया हूँ, न आया हूँ न लाया गया हूँ, मैं हरफ़े कुन हूँ, मैं फरमाया गया हूँ। हरफ़े कुन यानी हयाती के हस्ताक्षर। आपकी हयाती के हस्ताक्षर है आपके सिद्धांत, आपकी वैचारिक प्रबुद्धता, आपकी शख्सियत की शालीनता। आप कड़े सिद्धांतों पे आमादा हिंदुस्तान के चहीते बेटे और राजनेता है। His Highness is a national leader having global repute and cosmic finesse as a celebrated writer, thinker, and orator. His notes on the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Constitution of India are considered as the interpretations par excellence. Teachers, please make a mental note when I say this, because if someone is penning down two different holy books of two different religions while rooting them with the Constitution of India, he is actually carving out a finest lesson in humanity, a master class in wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, give out for the man himself, the Honorable Governor of Bihar, Shri Arif Mohammed Khan. इन दिनों प्रदर्शित हुई फिल्म हक आपने देखी होगी, जो हमारे देश के सबसे चर्चित केस शाहबानो बेगम की गुजर निबाह की कानूनी और सामाजिक जंग पे आधारित है। आज से 40 साल पहले चले ये बहुचर्चित केस में देश जब अलग अलग हिस्सों में बढ़ गया, तब आदरणीय राज्यपाल जी की राय, आपके इंटरव्यूज, आपके सुझाव की बदौलत उनके जैसी करोड़ों महिलाओं को घर के बाहर और घर में सम्मान और संपत्ति में हक मिला। आपके समाज बदलाव की जुम्बिश की झांकी आज जाके होती है, जब हर समुदाय की महिला अपनी जिंदगी अपने तरीके से जीने के लिए आश्वस्त है। आज अब इस देश में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर होते हैं, जिसमें दुश्मन पे पहला वार एक महिला फाइटर पायलट करती हैं और इसका ब्यौरा पूरी दुनिया को भारतीय सेना की 2 महिला अफसर्स देती हैं। आपने अपनी क्रांतिकारी सोच से महिला सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा दिया है, जिसका निरूपण है ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, जो सिर्फ अब सिंदूर श्रृंगार का प्रतीक नहीं पर शक्ति का प्रतीक है। लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, गिव आउट फॉर द नारी शक्तिज ऑफ आवर नेशन एंड द ऑनरेबल गवर्नर ऑफ बिहार, श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान।
Esteemed guest of honor, Shri Farooq Patel ji, Honorable President, UCA Tarsadia University, Shri Shailesh Bhai Patel, Honorable President Bardoli Pradesh Kalwani Mandal, Shri Bhika Bhai Patel, esteemed Vice Chancellor, Shri Yogeshwar Prasad Costa, esteemed CEO, Shri Dinesh Shah, Honorable Vice President Shri Kirit Bhai Patel, Vice President Shri Arvind Bhai Patel, Vice President of Bardoli Pradesh Kalwani Mandal, Honorable Registrar Shri Chinmay Desai, esteemed deans, members of the faculty and academicians, ladies and gentlemen, dear students and their parents. It gives me great joy to address the 13th Convocation of UCA Tarsadia University, which was established in 2011 to provide quality education in various disciplines of science and humanities. First, my hearty congratulations to all students who have qualified to receive their degrees today, and they have won many prestigious medals and awards. This day marks the beginning of a new phase in your life. The convocation experience is equally thrilling for the parents whose children are getting graduated. Behind every student's achievements lie the hard work, inspiration, and blessings they have received from their parents. My heartfelt congratulations to the justifiably proud parents who have come here to witness the accomplishments of their brilliant wards. For the new graduates, it is happy ending to the normal college routine of attending classes and book holding. It's a moment of transition to a new activity, as some of you may decide to pursue academics and take education forward, and others may decide to go for other options like entrepreneurship or join some other business. You are fortunate to have been groomed by a leading institute which earnestly seeks to ingrain ethics, sustainability, and inclusive growth in all its academic and other activities. A convocation speaker is expected to give advice to the new graduates. I don't suppose students generally relish advice, particularly on this day when they know that their family and friends are waiting for them to join in celebrations. But I do not wish to be accused of dereliction of duty, but will try to keep my advice short. The aim and purpose of education is to produce not just qualified graduates who would be equipped with knowledge and skill to contribute in the building of a nation, but simultaneously they will have to cultivate a robust sense of values which would ennoble their lives. Our youth has to be ambitious, but a sense of values, if we have that sense of values, that would never allow us to adopt unscrupulous methods to pursue our goals. Instead, it would make you live for an ideal or goal which you consider greater than your own self. We must always remember that those who are learned and have also acquired excellence in their chosen fields, but they do not possess a sense of values like compassion and empathy, they run the risk of becoming demoniac. They will be characterized by intellectual arrogance, spiritual crassness, and coldness of heart. Saksharo vipritatve rakshaso bhavati dhurvam. A sense of compassion for others is the quality that lifts humanity above the level of brutes. Our former president, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, has written that sense of compassion is absolutely necessary if we want to live a civilized existence. He further says that to a woman, this quality comes naturally, but man must make conscious efforts to cultivate this attribute. A sense of values in the Indian traditional context is to know that each one of us is potentially divine. Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. I am Atma Brahma Prajnanam Brahma. And when we appreciate this divinity of mankind, it would develop a chastity of mind and spirit that would never allow us to approach another sanctuary without trembling. There is a beautiful story in Nayak Upanishad where a question is asked, what is the essence of good life? At the time when this question was raised, there was a thunderclap in the sky. The clouds burst out, da, da, da. The Rishi asked the students, have you got the answer? They said, sir, you have not spoken yet. We have not received any answer. He said, the answer has already come from the heavens. Da, da, da. And he said, Tade Tade Vaisha Devi Vagnu Vadati Istana Yitnur Da 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 Iti Damyat Datta Daya Dhua Mati. First Da is Dam, second is Dan, and the third is Daya. Damas, Dam. It means to be in control of your own self. Don't allow your senses, indriyas, to control you. In fact, we have so many definitions of dharma that even Dharamraj Yudhishthira got confused. And he asked Bhishma Pitame, whose opinion is to be accepted and believed. So there is another verse from an Upanishad which says, Dharmasya vidhaya neko ye ve prokta maharshi bhi swayam swayam ashritte swayam swayam vijnanam ashritte damastesham parayanam. The Upanishad says that there are so many definitions of dharma. The sages, depending on their knowledge and experience, have defined it variously. But on one point, all of them agree, that to be in control of your own self, of your indriyas, to respect the maryada, that is the highest dharma. That is the secret to good life. The second Da is Dan, which means to recognize the rights of the deprived and the marginalized in your wealth and share your blessings with others. The third Da is Daya, compassion. To share, which means to share the grief and agony of others. To illustrate compassion, I would like to refer to a small anecdote from Srimad Bhagavad, not Gita, Srimad Bhagavad. The story tells us that after the Mahabharata war was over and Ashwatthama, in his rage, killed the 5 sons of the Pandavas, who were known as Pandavas. Then, because Draupadi lost all her children, she was in grief, not controllable. Arjun comes to her, tells her, consoles her, and tells her that I will bring the head of Ashwatthama, the killer of the children, on a platter so that you can be consoled. And as soon after saying this, as soon as Arjun turned to go, Draupadi caught his hand and she said, Ma rodid asse janni par Gautami pati devta yatha ahim mitvasa arta rodim me shru mukhi moh. Arjun, don't do that. I don't want Mother Gautami, who is the wife of the teacher Dronacharya, I don't want her to suffer the same fate as I have suffered. By punishing Ashwatthama, you will be punishing Mother Gautami, and that I won't let you do. This is what compassion in Indian context means. And in fact, I said Bhagavad Gita also expresses the same sentiment. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara sama dukha sukha chami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dirah nishya mai arpita manobuddhi ya mad bhakta sa me priya. He who hates no creature, who is friendly and compassionate to all, who is free from attachment and egoism, ahankar, balanced in pleasure and pain, and forgiving, ever content, steady in meditation, self-controlled, possessed of firm conviction, with the mind and intellect dedicated to me, he, my devotee, is very dear to me. It is important to remember that the distinctive mark of Indian culture is that this is the culture of knowledge and wisdom, and through every new generation, or we say that every new generation has a sacred duty to preserve it and promote it. Dr. Bijendranath Seal, former Vice Chancellor of Mysore University, in his book, he coined a beautiful phrase, India is ever aging but never old, to highlight the fact that our culture keeps renewing itself through every coming generation. So the uninterrupted continuity of our culture is marked by both antiquity, prachinta, and vitality, that is Mrityu-Jeta. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore underlined this knowledge tradition beautifully. He said, I love India, not because I cultivate the idolatry of geography, not because I had the good fortune to be born in her soil, but I love India because she has, through tumultuous ages, successfully saved the living words which issued from the illuminated consciousness of her children. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Truth is Brahma, wisdom is Brahma, infinite is Brahma, peace is Brahma, Goodness is Brahma and the perfect union of all beings. Ekatmata, that is Brahma. And never forget that the highest Indian ideal, both spiritual and cultural, the highest ideal is Ekatmata. Our culture is not defined by the color of the skin, by the language which we speak, by the way in which we give expression to our faith. Our culture is defined by Atma, which is the common heritage of not only all mankind, but we see Atma even in plants, in trees, in animals, in fishes, everybody. Once we understand this basic Indian ideal and we appreciate it, we internalize it, then we start seeing every being as extension of our own selves. Nobody in his good senses will be able to hurt herself or himself. Once we start seeing others as extension of our own self, how can we hurt anybody? This is the difference between Indian culture and the other cultures, which are mostly defined by supremacism. Supremacism of race, supremacism of language, supremacism of faith. Indian culture is defined by Atma, which is common heritage of all mankind. Since I had mentioned about the moment of transition in your life as you are going to enter the worldly, practical life, that is Grihastha Ashram, it would be proper if I draw your attention to the ancient Indian prescription how to live the life of a Grihast. It has been said again from Upanishad, Brahma Nishto Grihastha Syat Tattva Gyan Parayana Yad Karma Pirkirvita Tad Brahmani Samarpayat. First, from Brahmachari ashram you are entering today into Grihastha ashram. This is Dikshant, the end of formal education. This is not Shikshant, not end of the learning. Instead, the Upanishad tells us that as a Grihast, we have our life established in the supreme truth, shall pursue the deeper truth of all things. That process of learning, that shall not stop. Tapa swadhyay niratam. Be ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge, and in all activities of life, dedicate your work to the Supreme Being. You may be aware that Indian tradition attaches more importance to Grihastha ashram, as this is the only ashram which is responsible for sustaining other ashrams. It says that in my speech, I have not talked about the management and technology, as I feel that I was a student of humanities. I did my sociology honors and then law. So, okay. I feel that you have better knowledge of those subjects than me. But one point I would like to emphasize is that to help students to earn a living, honorable living, is one of the functions of education. Arth kari cha vidya. And based on accounts I have read, I would say that your university is performing this duty in a satisfactory, highly satisfactory manner. But we must never forget that education is about much more than artha, finances. Education must be seen as a means by which the youth is trained to serve the cause of social, economic, and moral improvement of the society. Once somebody was invited to address a convocation, and he sought advice from Dr. Radhakrishnan, our former president. And wonderful, he has mentioned it somewhere in his book, as to what advice he should give to the graduating students. Dr. Radhakrishnan replied back, and remember it, that he spent most of his life as a teacher of philosophy, particularly of Vedanta. And then he writes back to his friend saying that in my whole life, I have not been able to find a better convocation address than the line which was taught to Kaurav and Pandav princes by Guru Dronacharya on the day their education started. And it was Satyam Vad Dharmam Cha. That is the conclusion. That is the fruit of education. Tad Dittiya Janma. When you become different from what you were on the day you entered this university. You came with biases, you came with prejudices, which you inherited from your family, from other people. The job of the university is to make you free of those biases and prejudices. When you start considering everybody as extension of your own self, and therefore you develop sensitivity and compassion for them. Bhagwan Krishna tells Arjun about this particular Indian vision of knowledge. Yaj gyatva na puna moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshena dirakshyasi atmani athomai. He says, Arjun, once you acquire this knowledge, once you internalize this knowledge, this jnana, then you will never become victim of any illusion. Yena bhutani. Then you will start considering everybody, asheshena, without exception. Even for people who have done bad to you, because there is no exception. Yena bhutani asheshena dirakshyasi. You will see Atmani as extension of your own self, Atho Mai. Then you will realize that I dwell in the heart of that person as I dwell in the heart of you. This is what Indian tradition means. With that, I would give my best wishes to the new graduates, and I hope that your knowledge would make you to pay heed to those who have not received education, but they have contributed in making us access education. Swami Vivekananda has said, so long as millions live in ignorance and poverty, I shall hold everyone who has been educated at their expense and does not pay heed to them. I shall consider him or her as a traitor. Very strong words. But we must realize the education which we receive is not only because of our parents are able to pay the fees bill of the college and the university. The expenditure of the infrastructure, which, for instance, the road on which we travel and come to the university. Even the man who has received no education, he also pays indirect taxes to the government, and his contribution is also there. Therefore, we have a duty towards them. Let us work with zeal and determination to ensure every child has access to education. I would like to conclude by saluting this land which transformed Vallabhbhai Patel into Sardar Patel, not only of Bardoli, but of the whole India. And I have few Sardar Patel memorial lectures during last few years. Even here, Bardoli, I have come, I think, twice to participate in that. At the ashram of Pragya Ben is sitting here. I feel that in the 11th or 12th century, Shankara, Adi Shankara, he started from a young man, he started from a village in Kerala, and he created this awareness in the whole country about our cultural and spiritual unity. But that cultural and spiritual unity did not result in political unity. India was badly fragmented. Even at the time of independence, there were more than 565 states. Imagine if Sardar Patel had not been there, if he had not successfully united the India, then even to travel to, say, some 200 kilometers, you would have needed a visa. So I always say that the soul of Adi Shankara did not allow him to rest after his death. In his new avatar, he came as Sardar Patel, and the unfinished work of Adi Shankara was completed by Sardar Patel. We as a nation, our gratitude is unlimited, unbound. So I wish you again every success in whatever endeavor you undertake. All the best. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.